first about your early life. Were things ever bad for you as a kid?
Things were never great, you know? My parents got married early, and things got bad for them. They just split. Losing my mom was horrible. She was the one person in my childhood I always felt at ease with. And the time around her untimely death was the saddest period of my life.
When did you lose her?
I was only 8. It was a drug use gone bad.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that, man.
I loved her. She was a great woman. I got my long, skinny fingers from her. It was awful. So bad. I never felt so confused or alone in my life. Loneliness is, in my opinion, the single worst feeling in the world. There were times where I'd give anything just to have someone to talk to and express myself with. Things were never stable either. By the time I was 10, we'd moved 8 times because of my dad. He got abusive. He drank a lot too. Never really felt supported by him.
Wow, yeah, that's definitely a lot of moving. I'm just assuming you didn't have a lot of friends as a kid?
No. I've always said that my guitar was my greatest companion. To have something that you could play and express your mood with every day and night or after work or school, whatever, it's incredible and a true gift given to anyone with musical passion.
So when did you first get into the instrument?
I was actually older than most when I started playing. I loved it though. I was attached to my guitar because I really felt the ability to pick it up and play so easily when I first started out. It's like when you start out with anything, especially an instrument. It's so easy to just double your capacity by the week. You just get 100% better next month, 100% the next month, and I was completely enamored with that at the time. I wasn't really into singing or songwriting as a kid. I kind of just took this hands-on, the boot camp approach to playing guitar.
So you really played a ton of guitar as a kid?
Yeah, all the time. I adored the instrument. It wasn't until I was 13, though, that my dad finally lent me some money to buy my first guitar. From the moment I first picked it up, I had a secret relationship with it. A sacred relationship that was, as a kid, I played guitar all day.
What about when you were older?
Nah, with being shipped off to the army and all, I never really had as much time for it. I wish I did.
That's a good lead into my next question. What was the Army like?
I was assigned into the 101st Airborne Division. I got forced in by my dad, and from the help of a counselor. I did some really stupid things, and I thought it was best if I enlisted.
What did you do?
Got into some trouble, petty theft. I borrowed a car.
So it really set you straight then?
Absolutely. I never stayed long. I got dispatched when I landed badly on a paratrooping jump. Got myself a twisted ankle. It was worth it though, because later that week I got discharged. I think it was the first time I started acting like a man, and not as a dumb kid anymore. I made myself a promise. Don't look back. If I did, it definitely would have held me down. Yeah, it was a struggle. I blew all my money that I had earned from being in the Army in just a few days. And I was all on my own in Nashville, Tennessee. Couldn't believe I put myself in such an awful situation again.
What was so awful about it? You were finally free.
I know, but I was working all these odd jobs. I had no support. I was willing to do anything to perform for people, though. I had played at so many clubs.
But of course later you did get noticed.
Yeah, my agent Michael Jeffrey picked me up after I played a few gigs. He became my agent and put my trio together, the Jimi Hendrix Experience.
Who else was in the trio?
Mitch Mitchell was my drummer, and Noel Redding was on bass. We were great. I had a ton of fun with that band.
Well, you guys definitely didn't stop burning when you caught fire. People were so amazed by your new style. To quote Pete Townshend, a famous blues guitarist, he said, "Jimmy managed to build this bridge between true blues guitar and modern sounds. He did this so beautifully and brilliantly." How hard was it to be a common denominator for so many styles of rock?
It wasn't hard. I felt like it just came naturally. I never set off to merge any of it together. I just played what I felt.
What musician influenced you the most as a kid? Who did you like?
That's hard. I always loved Muddy Waters as a kid. Him and Elmore James influenced me a lot as a young boy. Bob Dylan was also there, but I didn't get into him too much until I really came to appreciate the sincerity of lyrics.
Well, two of your idols, Muddy Waters and Elmore James, were 30th and 49th on Rolling Stone's Top 100 Guitarists of All Time magazine. Explain what it's like to get number one. Was this definitely one of your greatest and proudest moments?
No way. The guys at Rolling Stones definitely messed this one up. It's definitely an honor to even be ranked up there with so many of my idols.
Well, the magazine's panel, as well as millions of your other fans, knew you deserved to be number one on that list. I want to ask you another question now, Jimmy. It's hard to imagine what the life of a rock star can be like. Can you explain to us what was going on through your head during that whole drug plant fiasco in Toronto Airport? You recently went to trial for that, right?
Oh my god. Well, yeah, it was definitely quite an episode that I went through. Knowing that my career could have crashed and burned at the decision of a jury.
What happened exactly?
Well, basically, I got caught up at Canadian Customs while on my way to playing a show in Montreal. They found heroin in my bag. I have no idea how it got there, or why anyone would want to plant it on me.
You admit to having a history of drug use, though, right?
Yeah, but I never used anything like heroin. That's the kind of stuff that could throw you into the addictive hole.
So was it definitely really difficult to go through something like that?
Of course. You know, I was anxious for a while. I remember the time it took them to figure out a verdict. It felt like an eternity to me.
I'm trying to come up with any kind of reason someone would want to do this to you.
No, I can't either. But things like this happen. I've learned to be a lot more careful with these things, and aware that stressful times like that are just a part of life. It's good to know what you do and how you act under pressure.
So when you were proven innocent by the jury, it was definitely a huge load off your mind then?
Oh yeah, absolutely. That was a huge make it or break it moment for me, and luckily, I was deemed innocent.
Alright, well it's good that we can get the record straight on that. I know it's caused a lot of confusion for people, especially your fans. Jimmy, my next question is just wondering how it feels to be such an influential musician in today's world. Did you ever dream of having it this good?
No, and it's awesome that people are replicating some of my sounds, but not, like a facsimile of any of my songs.
It's good to know that people put their own twist on Hendrix style rock.
Yeah, I've been imitated so well though, I've heard people even copy my mistakes. It truly is flattering.
Well, people certainly look up to you as a musician, Jimmy, and a teacher. You're undoubtedly the most influential rock musician to ever live, and I want to thank you for coming out to this interview today. I've had a great time getting a look into your life.